Hey, it's Jang here from UltimateRC.com with my review of the HPI Savage Flux HP. This is a member of an increasingly rare breed of RCs. Huge tires, a body jacked way up, high center of gravity, and a fairly short wheelbase. A dated design, but still selling pretty well. It's based on the design of the original nitro-powered Savage, right down to those trademark twin vertical plate chassis pieces. Usually abbreviated TVPs, those give the chassis a lot of longitudinal stiffness. But it's not a simple design, and there are a lot of horizontal plates needed to mount everything up. In the center of it all is that huge one-speed transmission. The HP in the truck's name stands for either high performance, high power, or horsepower. The ESC is a rebranded Castle Mamba Monster, and the big 1/8 scale size 2200 kV motor is also from Castle. It measures 40 by 74 millimeters on the outside, not including the heatsink fins. Battery trays are mounted to the sides of the chassis, and these have a cross-sectional size that just fits your standard 2S sized battery, but they're extra long. Depending upon the exact physical design of your batteries and where the wires come out, you may need to do a little bit of trimming on the tray to give your wires enough room to exit. The clasps on the battery trays actually get locked in place with these rubber straps. They feel flimsy, but if you secure them correctly, they do their job well. While older incarnations of the Savage used 2 big shocks at each corner, this one uses just one. These have plastic bodies and caps. For some reason, HPI made gratuitous and completely unnecessary use of dual springs at each corner. They end up working like regular linear springs, and they seem a little bit too stiff. There's also very little adjustability in the suspension, front or rear. The camber links are solid plastic pieces, and you can only change your toe. I mentioned the big tires a minute ago. These are 6 1/4 inches in diameter and 3 1/4 inches wide. They have a long-lasting all-terrain tread design, but much to my surprise, the rubber compound is actually quite soft, as is the foam inside. The wheels use a 17mm hex size, but the Savage stub axles are fairly small in diameter, and they use these proprietary odd nuts to make up the extra size. The radio is 2.4 GHz, but it's really nothing fancy. The steering wheel is plastic, and they give you steering and throttle trim adjustments and dual rate, and, well, that's about it. If you want more stuff with your Flux HP, here's a radio tray cover, optional wheelie bar, battery spacer foam, 14mm hexes for old wheels, Allen wrenches and body clips, some miscellaneous spare hardware here, arms for aftermarket servos and a huge pinion, extra shock parts like preload spacers, and there's also a long body post back there. And here are a couple of tools, though they do not give you a wheel nut wrench. If there's one thing that no reviewer will ever deny, it's that the HPI Savage Flux HP has an abundance of power. This here was putting around on 2 2S batteries, 4S in total, that had already been run for about 8 minutes. As you can see, the truck can be run in a relatively tame manner if that's the way you want to do it, but it is unusually easy to hit the throttle just a little bit too much and pick up 1 or 2 or 3 wheels off the ground, because the throttle curve is anything but linear. It's pretty gentle through the first third or so, then between a third and halfway through, it's like the floodgates of electricity just open up on you. And that's the Castle Creations combo for you. It makes driving the Savage Flux HP exciting. It always wants to get up and roar at you. Now with those nice soft tires, the truck gets good traction on just about any surface. But if you're on dirt that's really loose and you push it too hard, the tires will break loose on you in a turn, but then you can just drift right through it. The nemesis of the Savage Flux HP, though, are surfaces that have inconsistent traction or way too much traction. When the tires hook up, the explosive punch of the Mamba Monster combo and the high center of gravity of the truck on the whole just conspire against you, and it's really easy to flip over. Now here's some rougher terrain where I'll try to be moderately conservative on the throttle and try to keep this thing on all 4. With the stiff spring setup, you can see that it kind of bounces and leaps around. It reminds me of a young wild cat playfully chasing after a mouse, and occasionally tripping along the way. The stock suspension setup really does not do a good job of soaking up the terrain, and it's actually the soft foam inserts in the tires that do a lot of the bump negotiation. When you're driving over the rough stuff, you just have to be really gentle on the throttle. If you get too frisky, the results are always going to be the same. Now you might expect such a clunky basher to do poorly on a well-prepped racing track, but it actually doesn't once you get the hang of it. Naturally, it has plenty of power to get over most jumps and jump-like obstacles, and the stiff suspension actually becomes an asset out on a track. Here, one of the biggest negatives is the steering servo, which is just slow, but the surprise main enemy of good handling out here is the softness of the tires. It's good for traction, accelerating, braking, or in turns, but the sidewalls of the tires are so soft that you get some crazy slip angles. That's where the tires are facing one direction but the vehicle is actually traveling in another because the tires are bending beneath it as they roll along. As a result, on a high traction smooth surface, you have to pretty much go point and shoot with it. Choose a direction, pull trigger, slow down, choose a new direction, pull trigger, slow down, lather, rinse, repeat. Again, eventually you just get used to it. Now up to this point, all the video footage I've shown you has been driving on 4S LiPo, two 2S packs in series. But the Savage Flux HP can be run on up to 6S. Yes, 6S. For the sake of reference, the truck topped out on 4S at 41 miles per hour. That's with the stock gearing. On 6S, that went up to about 50. Why so slow? Why not 60? Well, you're looking at the reason, or reasons. When you stay above about 35 for too long, those soft sidewalls of the tires just toss you all over the place. They don't like going straight at speed for long. But if you try to overcome that by accelerating up to top speed too quickly, bad things happen. Speaking of bad things happening, it's that time. Carnage Report? Well, this camera link mount broke off. Fixing that required replacing half the diff case. Upper inner hinge pins came out a bunch of times. Only things holding them in are these flimsy bumper mounts. Those don't even have to bend, they can just turn, and when they do, they just let the pins right out. To fix this, you have to put a couple zip ties around both bumper mounts to keep them together. This rear knuckle broke off. That's no fun. Sleeves between the two spring stages got really stiff, and that made just the bottom spring work and the upper one didn't work at all. Stiffened everything up. Funky proprietary wheel nuts undid themselves inconveniently several times. Body's seen better days. One of my batteries got broken up from all the G-forces acting on it. The phone spacers had just a little bit too much give. An ESC terminal broke off, just like on the last HPI vehicle I tested, the Apache C1, thanks to, again, a vulnerable mounting position. Oh, and one of those vertical chassis plates tried to turn itself into a taco. I thought these things were supposed to be indestructible. That's what all the Savage fans told me. Kind of a letdown here. In fairness, I did bash the thing hard, but it did break a lot. Summing things up, it is a fun truck to drive, and I do appreciate the fact that it's one of the last mass-produced T-Max era true monster trucks, though I do need to put quotes around true because this does have independent suspension. But it has the tall ride, the really big tires, and the high center of gravity. And while those basic features are not the best things for optimal performance, they do give you a certain unique driving experience that you just can't get otherwise. It's also a big truck with a big presence. It doesn't try to hug the ground and sneak through the cracks and crevices. And if you like ridiculous displays of excess power, well, the HPI Savage Flux has that in spades. The driveline can handle it too, but the rest of the vehicle, might not survive your durability montage. Now, since the stock tires had such a funky effect on the handling of the Savage Flux HP, I did try some different ones, just to be fair, in the form of $90 worth of Proline Racing Trencher X's on Desperado 3.8-inch wheels. These add width, which adds stability, and their sidewalls are not made of bubblegum. They made the truck more forgiving to drive, but did not completely turn it into something new altogether. No miraculous transformation, still a Savage Flux HP. It's the right truck for some folks, I'm sure, just not for me. And that does it for this review. Thanks very much for watching. I hope that was informative and or entertaining for you. If it was, please be sure to hit the thumbs up or like button on it. If it wasn't, please hit thumbs down. It's all the same to me. If you have any questions or comments about the vehicle you saw tested here, be sure to post it up in the Monster Trucks forum at ultimaterc.com. See you there!